This week has been an extremely active week. It's the week that we celebrated the birthday of our international president and founder, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. And we had a number of powerful tributes for his 80th birthday and his 60-plus years of service as a civil rights leader. If you think about Reverend Jackson, he has been on this journey for 60-plus years continuously from the time he was arrested in Greenville, South Carolina. And just think, as a civil rights leader, human rights activist, he visited President Mandela when he was in prison. He was one of the civil rights leaders who led the boycotts and the economic challenges that had aided to end the apartheid regime in South Africa. And it's Reverend Jackson who, more than any other civilian in the world, brought more hostages from captivity home to safety. Whether it was Kosovo, Syria, Cuba, he brought them home as a civilian civil rights, human rights leader. And so then as we look at him today, he is still active. And so you're going to hear from religious leaders, business leaders saluting him. Just a powerful celebration. So we want you to hear some of the testimonies, some of the clips of what people had to say about Reverend Jackson and the work that he's done.
Happy birthday, Reverend Jackson. I'm so glad that you're doing better. I am so happy that you're here. Here's to 80 more.
Reverend Jackson, happy 80th birthday. From the time I was a little boy watching you on Sesame Street and saying, I am somebody, to being a young teenager marching alongside you on the Reagan White House. And then your presidential campaigns. And the thing that always will stand out to me is the way you would constantly remind us at every campaign stop, we have won our self-respect. We have that self-respect. We all know we are somebody's because of you. You reminded us of that at all times. And I'm so thankful for that. And I know many millions are as well. So grateful to God that you and Mrs. Jackson are in good health and good spirits. We look forward to many, many more years beyond this 80th year of you being in good health and good spirits. Thank you, Reverend. Happy birthday.
Reverend Jackson, happy 80th birthday. You left quite the legacy for your 79th. I could not have been prouder as President Macron bestowed on you France's highest Medal of Honor for the decades of sacrifice that you've made in the fight for civil rights, not just for people in the U.S., but around the world. Reverend Jackson, you have had a lifetime in the pursuit of equality, justice, and the fight against discrimination. You have gone head to head with corporate leaders in the fight of accountability and diversity. The work you have done has changed America's institutions and has brought hope to the communities that so desperately needed it. God bless you, Reverend. You have much work to do in your 80th.
Congratulations to Reverend Jackson on his 80th birthday. As the former president of Reggio's Pizza Incorporated, a very successful company that at times employed over 187 employees, which was started by my wife and I nearly 50 years ago. The company was sold to another African-American company in 2018. I am a former board member of Rainbow Push Coalition and the chairman of the International Trade Bureau for 12 years. It makes me very happy to congratulate Reverend Jackson on his 80th birthday, a life of tremendous adventure. Born a gifted child 80 years ago into humble circumstances, it would be unthinkable and beyond one's imagination the astounding heights he has reached and the inimitable contributions he has made to the world and to mankind, too many to mention. From the head of the student government at North Carolina A&T a theological student at the Chicago Theological Seminary, to an assistant to Dr. Martin Luther King, to the head of Operation Breadbasket, to the president of Operation Push, and the undeclared leader of the black world. President Bill Clinton named him a special envoy to Africa during his administration. Candidate for the President of the United States in 1984 and in 1988, where he taught his many supporters and followers the mechanics and analogy of a quilt, the beauty and significance of a rainbow, and the importance of the necessity of the vote. He encouraged many black people to register to vote, which set the platform for Barack Obama to become the first black president in the history of the United States in 2008 and again in 2012. Husband to the beautiful and gracious Jacqueline, the father to 5 wonderful children. You have done very well, Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson. You have done very well. Again, congratulations to you on your 80th birthday, and we wish the Lord to continue to bestow his richest blessings upon you and your family for many years to come.
Reverend Jackson, Emmanuel Chris Welch here, State Representative of the 7th District and Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives. It is an honor to wish you a happy 80th birthday. It is because of dynamic leaders like you that paved the way for people like me to be in positions that I have today. Thank you, Reverend. May God continue to bless you with many more.
Today, we're remembering a man who touched many lives in Chicago and around the country. Chicago's civil rights icon, Timuel Black, has died.
When everybody is running wild, you stay cool, and you'll break up the game. I took that from that early period of my life and have transferred it all through my life.
Though many who are lucky enough to reach the age of 100 become forgetful, Timuel Black is not one of them. He still recalls clearly exact addresses
At 6230 Vernon,
and exact dates
December the 4th of 1955.
from more than half a century ago. It's fitting that a man who would make his living as an historian would live to see so much of it. Black's family migrated to Chicago from Alabama in 1919 when he was less than a year old. Growing up in the notorious Black Belt, he recalls the rules his family was instructed to follow to avoid trouble.
Don't spit on the sidewalk. Don't talk too loud.
He attended Burke Elementary and DuSable High School. Later, the bombing at Pearl Harbor interrupted his 23rd birthday. While serving in Europe during World War II, a visit to Buchenwald concentration camp would cement his passion for working to make the world better.
So I saw Buchenwald, where human beings had been exterminated systematically, burned.
Black went on to college at Roosevelt University, then earned a master's degree from the University of Chicago before becoming a teacher. Then he heard a voice on television in 1955.
He articulated for me the way we felt, the way we had felt in the combat of World War II, but continued to be good Americans.
Black would work with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he came to Chicago, and he helped organize the Chicago contingent who went to Washington, D.C. for the historic March on Washington.
I have to carry that dream in my mind and in my heart. I have an obligation to this man who articulated for me and many more the dream of the world as it ought to be.
Working with King wouldn't be his last chance to help open another history-making door. Though he ran and lost his own race for Chicago alderman, he did help Chicago elect its first Black mayor, Harold Washington.
I mean, he was a go-to source. He was part of Harold Washington's inner circle. He was one of the guys that went out and got the money, that got the registered voters, that got the clout to help get him elected. Even then, he was a wise old man in politics.
Black is a consummate teacher with knowledge that comes not only from his research, but also his life.
So he can talk to you about Martin Luther King and why he came to Chicago and what he did here and the impact. And it's not just what he's telling the kids in the classroom, it's what he lived. He can tell you about Harold Washington, he can tell you about Carol Moseley Brown. All the major cultural and political moments in our history, he was there for.
Another moment he was there for.
Hello, Chicago!
Seeing the country elect its first Black president, Barack Obama.
Barack Obama reached out to him when he was just a community organizer because everyone said, you go to Tim.
He becomes one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, political figures in the whole world. Now that dream, very few of us could have had the feeling about that kind of dream personified by a person of color.
In a statement, President Barack Obama said over his 102 years, Tim was many things: a veteran, historian, author, educator, civil rights leader, and humanitarian. But above all, Tim was a testament to the power of place and how the work we do to improve one community can end up reverberating through other neighborhoods and other cities, eventually changing the world.
Have a feeling of great satisfaction, and at this point, a sense of fulfillment. As the end of time comes, I feel satisfied that I have lived a happy, productive life for myself and for others.
And among the condolences coming in today, Reverend Jesse Jackson called Black, quote, a great teacher and a tall tree in the civil rights forest.
Can you tell me the truth? It's just a dream of you and me. It's just a dream. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
He don't even want to come outside of the door. Then that's not what I want for him. I want him to be able to live the life that we live coming up, be able to come outside and, do the things that kids do.
There's so much going on. We're in the midst of a pandemic. We're still fighting for justice and we're still fighting for equality. Jamion sings a song, "A Change Gonna Come." When will the change come?
It's been difficult, but we just gonna have to live with it because we might never know when it's gonna be over, so. Even if it's small, even if it's significant, our dream still matters because we're trying to succeed to get to that dream.
We try to keep him motivated and just let him know that there are good people in the city and there are good people that lives in the world. This won't last always. I think it's just a trying time right now that we're going through. But he can be that one to get the people to see what he don't see right now.
My dream was to sing with VOC, trying to tell the teenagers that you can succeed your dream because you just got to keep working, and following on your dreams. So
it's a great example of what this world needs, of a group of people coming together, are unified, of completing one goal, and that's reaching somebody's heart, changing somebody's heart, lifting somebody's spirit, bringing joy to somebody, bringing some happiness to somebody. You know, that's what CCC does. A song can change the world. CCC can change the world.
When your heart is so cold, and in your mind you feel old, in your truth it will be right there just for you. Can you tell me the truth? It's just a dream for you and me. It's just a dream. When your time seems so long and you feel so alone, when your storm seems so real, you begin to feel what seems to appear. It's just a dream for you and me. It's just a dream. So when you dream, it can come true. It'll be right there if you just pursue. It's just a dream. Follow your dream. Take one step and follow, 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 for you and me, just
Hi, my name is Nathan Dancy. I'm an Orally Sanders recipient, and I would just like to say thank you and happy birthday to Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.
Hello, my name is Sabrina Ferguson, and I'm from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. On behalf of the Rainbow Push Excel GM Scholars, I would like to say happy 80th birthday, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Hello, my name is Kaylani Williams. I was a recipient of the Jesse Jackson Fellows Toyota Scholarship, and I just want to say happy 80th birthday, Reverend Jackson.
Greetings, my name is Jaden Reed. I'm a recent graduate from Florida State University, graduating spring 2021 with my bachelor's degree in business management. I would like to thank Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and New York Life for the scholarship they awarded me during my undergraduate career, and that's allowed me to continue my education and get this degree. I'm now a business owner, and I own a media production company called Revenge Visuals. I specialize in event photography and also do graduation portraits. I would like to also wish a happy 80th birthday to Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. Have a great day. Thank you.
We're excited to get more people involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in impacting public policies, if you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, you can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For an annual membership of $35, or if you're a student or senior, $15, you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. How do you become a member? Visit our website at rainbowpush.org and press join. Or maybe you'd like to support us. You can text the word PUSH That's PUSH to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount you feel comfortable giving. You can also call us at 773-256-2775 or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.
Reverend Jackson often tells us that his goal is for every child to have access to high quality public education. And so we have the Push Excel program. We're pushing students into STEM, and pushing teachers to make sure that the curriculum is inclusive of the rich history that African Americans have invested in America. And so one of our other major initiatives is to look at public housing. Where are we today and where should we be? Many of you are aware that we've been working with the Concordia housing development that is currently owned and managed by Capital Realty. What we want you to know is it's a HUD, a subsidized parcel of property. 300 families live there, and they have been living in a facility that has not been maintained, has not been renovated as it should have been, in a place where it was infested with rats and roaches, and in some instances mold. What change has already come to Concordia. It's not where we want it to be, but it is getting better. They've opened up the recreation facility for the young people. The park that was closed is open, and we're beginning to put in programs. And so Reverend Jackson has said no one should live in public housing and live beneath a standard of high quality living. No child should live in public housing and not have access to high quality public education, that they can walk to school every day. No child should have to live in a facility that is not properly managed and maintained. And so we're using Concordia as a model for what is happening to public housing all across the country. It's not just in Concordia, it's throughout cities like Chicago and all around the nation. And so Reverend Jackson invited and encouraged the new Secretary of HUD, former Representative Marsha Fudge, to come to Chicago and visit Concordia. And Secretary Fudge came, and she's going to tell you what is going to be different in public housing under her leadership as the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. I am so excited, and now I want you to hear from her.
I express my thanks to the residents of this area, officials, Congresspeople Kelly and Rush are here today. Seems to be a Lightfoot. We came here a few months ago, Rainbow Push did, and it was a mess. A national tragedy it was. Dumping garbage out in the streets, rats and roaches were running, all the houses were mildewed and mold everywhere. People suffocating from mold, and several residents died even before COVID took away 5 people's lives out here. They couldn't meet in this place. The tyrant for manager. There's a recreation area that the children couldn't play in it. They couldn't wash clothes on the weekend. The ownership was not involved because they were getting a 94% rating from HUD. That was a big factor. HUD was a culprit in it. HUD did not want public housing. The dream of public housing is model cities, correspond between the people and children, recreation and schools. The closed Carver High School, education desert. So it was a bad enough situation. We called Secretary Fudge. She put Cunningham and Berlin with those guys, Cunningham and Burt. We contacted ownership, Capital Housing, 20 markets around the country. And we want this to be a model of how it can happen in urban cities. Ms. Lightfoot, you've just been supreme in this. I want to express my thanks to you personally. Secretary Fudge has to catch a plane. We'll bring her on in a big, big way, and then Mayor Lightfoot. Secretary Fudge.
Let me thank Reverend Jackson, who first called me about Concordia, and we have started to see that there are Concordias all over the United States, unfortunately. But because of his advocacy, we have come so far with this project, with those who have taken over the ownership and those who have moved this project forward, and I thank each and every one. I had the opportunity to spend this morning with your governor, and I've been with your mayor all day today. We are all on the same page, committed to make sure that people can live decent, that we do everything we can to make sure that every person in this country does live with the kind of dignity and worth that they are due. So I am pleased to be here, and I've said to them, I know we have a lot of work to do at HUD. I've only been there a few months, but we are turning things around, and we're going to continue to do that work. I am not going to be able to stay with you long, but I do thank you all for being here, because I think it is important that you see not just the bad, but the good. A lot of work has been done here. Thanks to our team at HUD, under the direction of Mr. Cunningham, of course, the Reverend, the Mayor, everyone. So I appreciate all of the work that has been done. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you will talk about the redemption of properties like this. We've got a long way to go. I work for the federal government. It is not an easy place to work. It's like turning an ocean liner, but we are turning it. So just give us a chance, and we'll make sure that we make it better. Thank you all so much. Oh, Robin Kelly. Oh, gosh. Robin Kelly and Bobby Rush, my former colleagues, who have been so helpful to me throughout this process. Thank you all for being here, too. Thank you. See you.
So I will also be brief so that we have others who I think should come to the podium and speak. But the Secretary really, I think, said everything that's important here. We have to be united together at all levels of government, as well as with outside stakeholders, to make sure that we're presenting and providing quality, safe, affordable housing. And it shouldn't be that people who live in a place like Concordia Place get the short end of the stick. That's unacceptable to everyone. And while I can't account for what happened before we got here, we are now here, we're now united. And I have to give thanks where thanks is due for Reverend Jackson and really his tireless advocacy on behalf of the residents of this place. It's critically important. We wouldn't be here without him raising his voice. And also the fact that he has shown these residents that they can be empowered, that they can use their voices to really advocate for themselves and making sure that they get a better quality of life. You are seeing all of us, truly the whole of government, at every level. State Representative Marcus Evans is with us as well. We've got our housing commissioner. We've got the HUD regional office involved. Obviously our federal electeds as well. But at the direction and leadership of Reverend Jackson, on behalf of the residents in this building, we can never let what happened here happen again, anywhere in our city. And we are all committed, regardless of who the funder is. We have a fundamental responsibility to make sure that the people that live in our city are living in circumstances that we want our family to live in. And anything short of that, we are missing the mark. And Secretary Fudge said this earlier today, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. We are in a moment where we have the opportunity, hopefully a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do good on behalf of our residents. We have a president, we have two chambers of the Congress that should be in line, but whether they are or not, at the local level, we're going to make sure that we take care of business to work tirelessly on behalf of our residents. We have a unique opportunity, and we've got to rise to that occasion, not for our own glory, but for creating a better life for these residents. We heard in there, people felt like they were disconnected from the rest of the city, felt like they didn't have a voice and weren't heard. That should never be a reality of anyone in the city. We've got more work to do, but we are all prepared and united to roll up our sleeves and make sure that we get it done. And I also just want to say, we are on the cusp of an important moment in our city, Reverend's birthday, 80 years old. And this man keeps creating a legacy for which we are all grateful and the beneficiaries of. So, Reverend, thank you so much for your continued leadership. Thank you.
I know you keep hearing this, but I'll be brief. But it's really an honor to be here today, and thank you so much, Reverend Jackson, for everything, as everyone else has said. You put a light on this, and we got into action because of your leadership and your voice. It was an honor to have Secretary Fudge in the district. I served with Secretary Fudge for 8 years, and she said to the residents, it's a new day, and believe me, it will be a new day because Marsha doesn't play, and she will get things done. And I'm so proud of the residents that they came out and they advocated for themselves, and they're looking out for themselves because you have to speak up. That is just the bottom line, and that's what they did, and they see from their voices and the leadership of Reverend Jackson that things are getting done. Hopefully when we go back to DC, Congressman Rush and I will be voting on some resources to bring money back to the district. To our districts, to the city of Chicago. As you see, they are quite needed, and a lot of the money is around housing. We're trying to give HUD millions of dollars to make a difference in all of the areas and all of the neighborhoods that need it. So thank you so much. And Congressman Rush.
Thank you, my dear colleague, Congresswoman Kelly, to our great mayor of the city of Chicago, how can I describe Reverend Jackson? In some ways he's my father, in some ways he's my brother, in some ways, in a real sense, he's been my savior. He saved my life some 50 years ago. But let me just say on this matter of Concordia, when I think about HUD, and I think about the history of HUD as it relates to my community, the black and brown people, HUD has not always been our friend. I mean, HUD has been, in some sense, federal housing policy has been the greatest enemy of poor and black people in the history of this country. Racists were able to use housing policies to deny black people their American dream, access to their American dream, through federal housing policies. Housing policies created redlining, undergirded Jim Crow, created disparities, created racism, housing policies. And so we've come a long way from the condemnation of HUD to a word that the Secretary used this very morning, to the redemption of HUD. And I know Marsha Fudge. I served under her when she was the chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus. I know from where she has come, and I know that there is not one thing, one problem that Marsha Fudge does not have the courage to tackle, the talent to solve, and she is such an inspirational leader at HUD. So Concordia is just the first bite of the apple. But there are many more bites to come. And I believe in Marsha Fudge, I believe in our mayor, and I certainly believe in the inspirational leadership of our leader, Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson.
HUD means so much to us. I took my first bath in the bathtub at age 13. We grew up on 412 University Region, South Carolina. Outdoor toilet, 6A, Briar Street, 6A and 6B. Toilet for 2 families. Moved to Fieldcrest Village, public housing. Had a bathtub and on-cool running water, sold refrigerator. Public housing was a joy. We had the recreation center, skating rink for the first time, swimming pool for the first time. It was housing urban development. There are those who get to the White House who have a thumbs down on things public, let it run down. Now the redemption is on the way. I want to thank you again, President, for me your response to us telling the story of HUD, of Concordia, making it happen. The residents who are here today, they were not always as happy. They have become cynical, Mayor. They believe it could happen. They get the response from City Hall, from HUD, nothing can happen.
Let me talk specifically about this place, and then I can give you a sense of kind of the overall visit. The Secretary is, I think, recognizing that it has to be a new day when it comes to HUD properties. And you asked the question, what's the city? We have been at the table from the very beginning when we became aware of the challenges that are here. As I said, as you know, this is not a city CHA property, this is a HUD property, but these are our residents. And we have a responsibility, regardless of what the jurisdictional lines might be, to make sure that we're doing everything possible to commit to these residents that they will live in a safe, clean, and that's the emphasis, safe, clean, affordable place.
We're celebrating the legend himself, that prophetic icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the game-changing gospel giant and prophetic witness. Happy 80th birthday. That's powerful. That's awesome. 80 years that have been filled with making a qualitative difference. So as much as we're excited about the quantity, 80, we're celebrating the quality within the quantity. Now, how can we celebrate this in a way that truly reflects appreciation for the man, the mission, the message, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr.? I want to invite you to help us bring to pass a vision that was given to him by the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King had a dream of 1,000 churches connected. We got, 50 major markets. If we have 20 churches in those 50 major markets, that would basically say, I'm going to connect with Rainbow Push. And in connecting with Rainbow Push, we'll do it on several levels. We'll do it by way of offering our financial support to Rainbow Push. I've already sent a check both to Reverend Jackson and to Rainbow Push, because it's definitely necessary at this time that we understand the need to utilize our prophetic witness in an empowered fashion. I often say that while the Republicans are playing a game of power chess, the Democrats are trying to learn how to play checkers. Listen, we preach about power. We talk about power. The question is, are we going to wield power? Reverend Jackson says we can wield power with 1,000 churches around this country connected in investing in Rainbow Push, but also not only must we invest in Rainbow Push, I hope you join me and will contribute at least $1,000. I've done more than that, but you can do what God has blessed you to do. And then not only that, I want to encourage you, as Reverend Jackson is talking about, we need, just as we have Sunday school classes, we've got to have social justice classes and teach what it means to unite or reunite in holy wedlock what never should have been divorced, Jesus and justice. That's what 1,000 churches connected can do. Imagine 1,000 churches throughout this country connected, wielding power. Watch this, as one, but at the same time doing all we can to make a difference in our respective areas, being fed, watch this, information as well as inspiration from Rainbow Push as a family and Reverend Jesse Jackson as our fearless leader. So I hope that you'll join me. Join 1,000 churches connected. That's a real good way to say happy birthday, Reverend Jackson. Happy 80 years. God bless you. Keep hope alive.
Reverend Jesse Jackson, happy birthday. On behalf of CEF and all of our employees, we'd like to thank you. We just are so thankful for all the work that you've done. You've represented us so well, and we look forward to celebrating your birthday annually. So happy birthday, enjoy this one, and many more to come. Thank you.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. I am Q Parker, and I want to say happy 80th birthday to the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you so much for all of your contributions globally, and I want to do my part today in helping to celebrate you. So happy birthday. I love you, man.
Rev, it's your boy, Shannon. Happy birthday, my man. Happy 80th birthday. I know 2021 has been a little difficult on your family, but there's no doubt in my mind, being as resilient and tough as you are, you were going to overcome this. You've been fighting for our community your entire life. Continue the great fight. Thank you for all that you've done and for all that you will continue to do. Happy 80th birthday, my man. Rev, I'm very happy to call you a friend. Happy birthday again, and many, many more to come.
Happy 80th birthday, Reverend Jackson. Oh my, how wonderfully blessed you are to receive the promised plus years from our dear Heavenly Father, the great I Am. I just wanted to send a little note to wish you a happy birthday and to also thank you for all of the many years of sacrifice that you have put in for our community and the world. Shining a bright light on the importance of civil rights and equality and justice for all of us. Our community loves you dearly. We honor you on this 80th birthday, and we thank God for your presence, and we thank God for you and all of the work that you have done. Enjoy this day. Enjoy your life. God bless you, and the Durant family loves you, and we appreciate you always. Hope to see you soon.
I want to wish a happy birthday, a happy 80th birthday to a man that I have admired for my entire adult life. That would be the Reverend Jesse Jackson. I so wish I could be there at the celebration with you all in Chicago. I had a tremendous time at your 75th birthday party in Los Angeles. I want to salute you, Reverend Jackson, for all of the hard work, the dedication, and the visionary leadership that you've provided for African American people, and really all people who are unfairly discriminated against. I've been in rooms where you've spoken and wowed me and everyone present with your wisdom and your uncanny ability to tie the past to the present. I, as a sports broadcaster, am especially thankful and grateful for the work that you've done in the sports world, where you've supported initiatives that have changed lives both on and off the field. You've worked hard in assuring that there is diversity and inclusion in the sports world, and you've kept pressing for more and more and never stopped, which is tremendous and much needed. But you've done a great work, and I'm sure there's still great things ahead of you, no doubt. So I salute you once again. Happy 80th birthday, and do us all a favor and keep on keeping on.
Reverend Jackson, since my days as a budding activist, I have looked up to you and admired you. When I started working with National Action Network, you embraced me in the social justice family. Over the years, I have been grateful for your commitment to justice, your determined fight for equity, and your relentless drive toward opening doors of opportunity. On your 80th birthday, I salute you. I know that my role in tech exists only because of your fight. And I know that in each of those 80 years, you have opened hundreds, if not thousands, of doors of opportunity for many people just like me. May God bless you and your family, and may your day and your year be the best yet. Happy birthday.
Jesse, on behalf of all of us at the NBA, we want to wish you a very happy 80th birthday. There's no doubt you deserve a big celebration after what you've been through over the past few weeks. You've been such a great friend of me in the league for many years, and I hope we get a chance to see each other soon. Have a wonderful birthday.
I'm Todd Geary, back with this week's edition of Due Process. Earlier this week, Indigenous Peoples Day was officially recognized in the United States. President Biden issued a proclamation to observe October 11th to honor Native Americans and their resilience in the face of tremendous hostility and discrimination and genocide by policy and practice that spanned generations. Columbus Day shared the same date as Indigenous Peoples Day this year. We know the myth of Columbus and his exploratory feats has been built on misstatements and untruths about his success, while Columbus's extreme acts of violence against Indigenous peoples has gone ignored and understated. America's original peoples have resisted unrelenting efforts to minimize and justify the violence perpetrated against them in the name of manifest destiny. This week's observance is yet but an important first step in showing proper recognition of indigenous peoples in America, while also ensuring that the history that is told is accurate, honest, and true. Policing continues to drive much of the news as we continue to see acts of police brutality and excessive force across the country. In Indianapolis, the U.S. Attorney's Office has opened an investigation into the September 24th battery by Indianapolis Police Sergeant Eric Huxley. Huxley was filmed stomping on the head of Jermaine Vaughn, who was handcuffed at the time and had been taken to the ground during a disorderly conduct arrest in downtown Indy. The graphic body camera video showing the violent stomping was released at a press conference this week to discuss the incident. Huxley has been charged with official misconduct and battery. Both charges are felonies. Metro Police Chief Randall Taylor expressed his anger about the incident and has recommended Huxley's termination. Things aren't much better in Dayton, Ohio, where the Dayton Police Department Professional Standards Bureau is investigating the arrest of Clifford Owensby, a black man who is paraplegic after he was dragged from his car by his hair. Owensby had been stopped by police for suspicion after leaving a purported drug house and to ultimately search his car. When officers demanded that he exit the vehicle, Owensby told one of the officers that he could not because he was paraplegic. Another officer reportedly told him that he could either cooperate and exit the vehicle or that he would be dragged out. The officers did indeed drag Mr. Owensby from the car by his hair, while Owensby screamed for help and pleaded with the officers that they could hurt him. Police cited him for having an unrestrained child in the back seat and for tinted glass on his vehicle. While Dayton Police Chief Matt Carper has indicated additional diversity, equity, and inclusion, de-escalation, and other equity training will be provided, the president of the Dayton Fraternal Order of Police Lodge tried to justify the officers' actions by stating that arresting non-compliant individuals is not pretty, but is necessary, adding that the officers followed the law. As legal responses are being considered in these cases, Rainbow Push Coalition will join with local civil rights organizations in demanding accountability and justice in both of these cases. Meanwhile, in Baltimore County, Maryland, it was announced that the county had reached a settlement with the family of an unarmed man who was shot and killed by police while having a mental health crisis. The $6.5 million settlement was announced this week, although settlement was reached back in the summer. Eric Sopp was having a mental health crisis and had threatened to kill himself when he drove off in a vehicle. His mother called 911 expressing concern for his safety and informing the dispatcher of his statement to harm himself. When officers stopped his car on the shoulder of one of the area highways, Sopp refused to put his hands on the dashboard and told the officer that he was getting out of the car. As he stood up upon exiting the vehicle, the officer fired 8 shots, killing Sopp, who was unarmed. While the Sopp family has resolved the matter of the death of their loved one with Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski, 10-year-old Cody Gaines is still waiting for a reasonable response from the executive in resolving the $32.7 million jury award for injuries he sustained when Baltimore Police Corporal Royce Ruby recklessly killed his mother, Corinne Gaines, in her apartment in 2016. While the county did settle with the Gaines family and the estate for $3 million earlier this summer, Cody's jury award is still in limbo, with the county only offering $1 million as a proposed settlement. Unlawful killings by police are always tragic, but not all deaths by police are treated with the same sense of accountability. we will continue to demand that Johnny O do what is right and pay the jury award for Cody Gaines' traumatic injuries and ongoing support. In Montgomery, Alabama, the City Council voted unanimously to rename Jeff Davis Avenue after the iconic civil rights attorney Fred Gray. Mr. Gray, who during the Jim Crow era grew up on the street now named in his honor, provided legal representation for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Mrs. Rosa Parks during the early days of the modern civil rights movement. While this honor appears to be well-deserved and proper in renaming a street formally honoring the President of the Confederacy, the City Council's actions may not be without some pushback. The 2017 Alabama state law that prevents the removal or alteration of Confederate monuments provides for up to a $25,000 fine for violating its provisions. However, donors have readied themselves for such a response by offering to pay any penalty on behalf of the city. Mr. Gray, who at 90 still practices law in Tuskegee, expressed his happiness about the effort. Mr. Gray also served as lead counsel on behalf of Rainbow Push Coalition, the Transformative Justice Coalition, and other plaintiffs in the 2020 lawsuit against the Georgia Secretary of State for voter suppression and violations of federal law. Fred Gray has not only been Dr. King's lawyer, Rosa Parks' lawyer, he is also our lawyer, and we celebrate him on this momentous honor. Finally, we honor and celebrate the life and genius of our founder and president, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., who turned 80 years old last week. The consummate fighter and champion for the causes of justice and human rights, Reverend Jackson continues to fight for those who are often left out, left behind, or just ignored by speaking to the issues that affect all of us. In spite of the challenges of Parkinson's disease and a recent bout with a breakthrough case of COVID-19, Reverend Jackson remains committed to the proposition that it isn't enough to be free, we must be equal. We say happy birthday to Reverend Jackson, and I invite you to give Reverend Jackson the one birthday gift that really matters to him, your support and partnership. Join Rainbow Push Coalition today and tell Reverend Jackson happy birthday by joining the movement. Go to rainbowpush.org right now and sign up. That's this week's edition of Due Process. I'm Todd Yeary, and remember, keep hope alive.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level. And by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
Dr. Kim, I went to jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few jail cells and death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did and what we did and how global it was. Was speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it and give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yep, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the U.S., but around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition. When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select Push for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
We are Sanctuary. We are a sanctuary.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of two words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Corporate partnership.
Stop the violence. Save the children. Don't get in. Shut it down. If we don't get in, shut it down.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Alive. Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Alive.
We want to be bridges to end these cultural gaps.
Going forward. By hope. Not backwards. By fear.